Good evening and welcome in to the Wire Sports Show. Apologies for the delay, y'all. Had a few technical difficulties, but we on now, so we ain't worried about it. But we thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. To the right of the screen is Pops, and I am QMP. We are your favorite father-son duo talking sports. And in today's show, we're gonna talk a little bit of WNBA. We're gonna talk about around the. We're gonna go around the NFL. Of course, we're gonna talk about the Cowboys game against the Cardinals. Now, obviously, we're gonna talk about our bro moment of the week. But you ready to talk to the people, Pops?
Yeah, I was sorry again for the delay or whatever we had, but we're ready to go. Let's get the show going.
And y'all, don't forget to be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we appreciate everybody tuning in on Facebook, on YouTube, and on IG. Appreciate y'all very, very much. Thank y'all so much for the love and support. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right, Pop. So first up, we're going to the world of the NBA, and a former Maverick has now been signed by the Miami Heat, and that's Mr. Klay Thompson. So apparently the Mavericks and Klay Thompson mutually agreed to a buyout, and so now he's apparently going to become a member of the Miami Heat. That means he's joining the likes of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo. So what do you think about this signing, Pops?
Well, I really didn't think he would stay with us too long or whatever because we're in a rebuilding mode, and I know he knows about he's like championship material, and so I think he wanted to move on in a sense, like you said, in a mutual agreement, and he still had another chance to with these guys to try to at least get into a finals or whatever with the Miami Heat. So again, like I said, I didn't think he would be with us too long anyway, so I do appreciate his time with us. So we'll see what happens with it when he's with Miami.
My thing is, Pops, and again, make this clear. I'm not a Mavericks fan, but at the same time, I would have really liked to see him, perform as he did with the, Golden State Warriors, and he did some of that, during his time with the Mavs. But I would have loved to see that, with the likes of a healthy Kyrie Irving, Cooper Flag, things of that nature. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So you can kind of see what steps the Heat are trying to take to build a team around Bam and Giannis. So it's a pretty good signing because, obviously he's going to space the floor because of his, 3-point shooting abilities. So good signing. If it comes out to be that is actually the case. Because like I said, the Mavs and Klay Thompson mutually agreed on a buyout. And apparently Klay Thompson's going to be joining the Miami Heat. So we're going to see how that goes. All right, y'all. So next up, now y'all going to be disappointed with this Mavs fan. Mavs fans, I'm just telling y'all going to be disappointed. So Mr. DeMar DeRozan is going to be a member of the Denver Nuggets. So remember, back when I told you, DeMar DeRozan was a free agent. Well, I thought he was going to be signing with the Mavs just because of his, relationship with the new our head of basketball operations for the Mavs, Masai Ujiri. But that's no longer the case. So y'all ain't got to worry no more. DeMar DeRozan is now a member of the Denver Nuggets. What do you think about this signing for the Nuggets, Pop?
Again, we go with the championship mentality, and that is that he probably thinks he can win a championship more so with Denver because of the squad they already have. And I will say this, the Mavericks still are kind of like a rebuilding stage, so his chance of winning a championship with Denver and making them stronger is probably the reason why he did go ahead and sign with them. Because, like I said, the Mavericks, they're trying to find their identity, and we don't know which direction they're going to go until the season starts. But this young man knows that Denver has talent, so we'll see which way it goes.
And we got a comment from a man, Texas Kings 88. Yo, appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you joining the show. He's saying we didn't want him anyway. MFFL. I hear you, bro. I
Hey,
hear. I was sure hoping he'd go to the Mavs. I was just thinking that was just a match made there with like I said, the former Toronto man being in Toronto, Masai Ujiri. I just thought, DeMar DeRozan was gonna be over there, but I guess not. I guess not. So yeah, DeMar DeRozan is now a member of the Denver Nuggets. And for me, Pops, I mean, it's a good sign for the Nuggets. I mean, he's a good player. He's a good scorer, consistent scorer. So I'm good with what they did. It's only going to help Jokic out. You know what I mean?
right,
So Nikola Jokic. So at the end of the day, it's going to hopefully give him some more opportunities. To score. Obviously, he doesn't need any help with that in the first place because he's
right,
a hell of a player. But yeah, I think it's a good sign for DeMar DeRozan.
yeah.
Yo, we got another comment from my man Brandon. What up, yo? Appreciate you tuning in, my man. Thank you so much, my bro. As always. All right, so again, y'all, DeMar DeRozan is now a member of the Denver Nuggets. Moving on, we're gonna go to the world of the WNBA. And y'all, listen, as I told you, I've been watching a lot more games here lately. So the Dallas Wings went up against the Seattle Storm. Obviously, Seattle Storm isn't that great of a team. However, Dallas Wings are on the upswing. They did have this recent injury to AZ Fudd, who was their number one draft pick this past year's WNBA draft. Uh, so she's out for the year, but they're still doing their thing. So Pops, the Wings did win this past weekend against the Seattle Storm, and they with their win on this past weekend, they actually got 22 wins on the season, which is the most wins for them since their move to Dallas. So what do
Right.
you think about the Dallas Wings and what they're doing? They're in the playoff hunt, Pops.
Right, right. Well, I like the idea again. I would love to do a lot more in the playoffs, but to actually get in the playoffs and give Dallas that feeling, about the playoffs itself, it's going to be a good thing. I don't know if we'll advance too much or whatever like that, but it shows that we're trying to build a team here that possibly may be around for a while, because one of the star players is out right now, and so if they can make a little bit of a run here, I don't know if they will or not, but I think the Dallas uh, Wings will be part of the WNBA for a while now since that first playoff. We may be one and done, but we in.
And you're right about that. The thing is, they as you know, they're going to be playing, I believe, at the AAC starting next year, if I'm not mistaken. And so that's gonna, like I said, they're on the upswing. And hopefully, AZ Bud comes back healthy from injury, because apparently there's something going on with the knee that she has. So hopefully she can come back and be even an even better player than she once was.
Right.
But we shall see, because we already know how that is when it comes to those knee injury spots. So we're gonna see. But Paige Beckers is doing her thing as well. Just saying. We got another comment from Brandon. Brandon is saying the Wings made adjustments, but they cannot get past the Lynx. They have to finish games. Losing AZ Fudd was a problem. Absolutely, I completely agree, man. Losing her was a big deal. They went on a bit of a losing skid, but they found their footing a bit. And like I said, they got a win this past weekend against Seattle Storm. So big ups to the Dallas Wings. We see y'all. Y'all on the upswing, and look forward to seeing bigger and better things from y'all. You know what I'm saying? So big ups to the Dallas Wings. All right, so next up, y'all, it wouldn't be a show without me talking about the Indiana Fever, y'all. I'm just saying. If y'all didn't know, I'm clearly a big fan of the Indiana Fever. I really am. It's like I'm watching the WNBA's version of the Golden State Warriors, honestly. With how they move the ball, how they're shooting. Obviously, Caitlin, but then you also have Kelsey Mitchell, who, by the way, Like I said, went up against the Chicago Sky. It was an awesome game, Pops. Awesome game. But Indiana pulled away. And I'm going to tell you, so Kelsey Mitchell actually had her 23rd straight game with 20 points or more. It's insane. She's on an insane run. Thing is, she's extremely superstitious about it because she won't talk about it whatsoever. She just keeps her head down and keeps playing ball. And it was amazing to see because I was like, the way she was playing early on, it's like she might not get that 20, but then she caught fire pops and was hitting threes, and it was wild to see. And then Caitlin Clark, oh my gosh, Caitlin Clark had 37 points, pops, and I'm telling you, she is truly the WNBA's version of Stephen Curry. Because I mean, her range is just like his, where she can go just past the half court line, and that's her range. That is her range. I mean, she was unbelievable against the Sky. It was a lot. It was a lot of fun basketball to watch. I really had a great time watching that game. Um, Chicago Sky, they tried their best to make it happen, but again, the Indiana Fever pulled away. So, give me your thoughts, pops. Indiana Fever, think they might have a chance to win it all, or well, I don't know. Maybe not this year, but we'll see. But what are your thoughts, pops?
Well, it seems like, I don't know, maybe a while back. I don't know if you were as interested it seems as if you are right now with the WNBA, but I think Caitlin to kind of won you over in the way they are playing. It's kind of like you said, it made you a good fan of them, and so hopefully they'll make it to the finals. So that way we can find out if Caitlin was really worth what they say she's worth as far as in the WNBA. But it's going to be a long road for her to do this because we know who the defending champions are. And so we'll see what Miss Kaylin can do because, like I said, say she's made the WNBA a whole household name. So we'll see what happens with this.
Yeah, absolutely, pops. I agree. And the thing is that you know wherever Indiana goes, fans travel. They travel, and it's a constant thing. You always hear. I remember the last game we had talked about. It sounded like in the Indiana Fever game. And they were on the road, and it sounded like it was in the Indiana Fever game. It really did because of how much tears they were getting every time Caitlin Clark scored or they scored, especially Caitlin Clark. So I think more than anything is more Caitlin Clark fans that are out there, like you were saying, that she's made the WNBA a household name for sure.
Right,
Angel Reese is doing her thing as well, literally being a Dennis Rodman of the WNBA with accomplishing big feats with getting all these rebounds. So I see our
right,
WNBA, as
right.
you said, Pops. I hadn't talked about this a lot before, but I have become a fan. I've become a fan,
All right.
straight up. All right, so moving on, y'all. We are going to the world of the NFL. Now, we got this clip right here, y'all. But before I go into this, I'm gonna take this off the screen real quick. So, y'all, really breaking news. The Pro Bowl, breaking news as of today, the Pro Bowl is no more. The Pro Bowl is no more. Say that one more time. There's no more Pro Bowl games, Pops. They're done, right? They're done. And the reason why is because, as you know, Pops, it's been absolute trash here lately. As when you were coming up watching ball, Pops, when they did start the Pro Bowls, how much they truly cared about winning that game and truly played ball. Um, and then all of a sudden, that was no more. It truly was no more. Um, they will now focus on um, celebrating the honor of being a Pro Bowl selection as opposed to doing any games. So, NFL players, I blame you because at the end of the day, it was clear and evident. Even with the flag football game, Pops, it was like, do you really care? I know in the days that Emmitt Smith was, when the Cowboys are in their heyday and things of that nature, in the early '90s, into the early into the mid '90s, it was a game. You remember when Sean Taylor had that hit against the punter, like there were some that really wanted to play ball, and then all of a sudden it just became literally touch football with pads on.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, come on now. We got a comment from Nicole Bryant. What up? What up? We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much for the comment. What up? Appreciate you. But yeah, like I said, pops. At the end of the day, the Pro Bowl games are no more. What do you think about that? We don't have a clip for it because again, it was breaking news today, y'all. So, what do you think about the Pro Bowl games not no longer being a thing, pops?
I saw the real demise of the Pro Bowl probably about 3 to 4, 5 years ago, because of the fact that some of the players would always bail out, or they would say they're not going to play because of an injury or whatever. But and again, like I said, all of these different things that are going on with injuries and stuff. I said the CTE, the problem with the brain injuries and stuff like that. But it lost its luster, like I said, about 4 to 5 years ago, and I really quit watching it or whatever. And football is football. You put the flag on them all you want to, but that does not more or less equate to the game you love seeing all season. And here they come with flags on and pulling the flag. So I saw the demise a while back, and I'm glad they got rid of that.
Yeah, I mean, pops. Like I said, we were used to seeing real ball, and
Yeah,
no more. So, Pro Bowl games are no more. And again, NFL players, the modern day NFL players, I blame you guys for that. Because I'm one of the few people that really look forward to seeing the Pro Bowl, and then you actually were getting people that were getting they were booing them. The crowd was booing them because they're like, "What y'all doing? What are you doing? Y'all ain't playing ball at all." Which
hey,
again, why they went to the flag in the first place. But you know, it is what it is. All right, so we got a little bit more breaking news, y'all. So just so y'all are aware, it's something that came out in regards to the to three rules in particular that the NFL and NFLPA reached an agreement. And I'm going to read this verbatim. So the NFL and NFLPA reached an agreement that says players who commit three violations in any of these categories in the season: hip drop tackle, horse collar tackle, launching, hit on a defensive player, or blindside block, will now be suspended for one game. Let me say that one more time. The NFL and NFLPA reached an agreement today that says players who commit three violations in any of these categories in a season: hip drop tackle, horse collar tackle, launching, hit on a defensive player, or blindside block, now will be suspended for one game. What are your thoughts on that, Pop?
I agree wholeheartedly with that because, like I said, these men are already putting their lives on the line in the sense of speaking. And also, they have families they have to take care of. And one of those fouls, or shall I say, penalties, could cost them their actual career. And so, at least they give them, as they say, 3 strikes and you're out. So these guys know this entering this season. And I really think that it's a good move. It should hopefully help the game a lot more, and it should be that many more injuries because these guys know what it takes to have their career ended. And so again, we'll see what happens this coming year, and hopefully this will stop a lot of the injuries that they once had. Because as we've seen, some of the careers are ended because of these penalties.
Yeah, and I agree with it, there, Pops. I mean, they're putting their money where their mouth is, and literally are um, promoting what they've been trying to say, health and safety of the players. Well, this is a big step in that direction. So we got a comment from Brandon. Brandon saying, so all of those tackles will cause suspension, but they can't get rid of artificial turf. Man, you onto something there. You onto something there. I mean, there's a lot of money that flows around, and I don't see why they wouldn't be able to get that done, boss. You're right about that. So good comment. I appreciate the comment, brother. But yeah, all that. But yeah, you can't get rid of artificial turf. And the players are saying that they want the more, real surfaces to play on as opposed to the artificial turf. They've come out and said that. So hopefully, the NFL will listen and actually do that. You know. But again, y'all, those three those not those three, but saying that those violations, if they get one of those, they get three of one of those, they're going to be suspended for one game. So that was breaking news, y'all, from today. So that was probably, I think that came out maybe about 10, 15 minutes ago before we
Mm.
went live, y'all. So again, NFL is putting their money with their mouth where their mouth is as far as the health and safety in this regard. Like Brandon said, though, there's other things that they can do to make sure that putting their best foot forward when it comes to the overall health and safety of the players. Real talk. All right, y'all. So moving on in our around the NFL segment off of the physically unable to perform list. Now, with him being activated off this list, Pops, it is possible that he could possibly play Week 1. And now George Kittles is one of my favorite players. But what do you think about this, Pops? Now, remember he tore his Achilles, right? So this is amazing. Again, we talked about the advances in medicine and things of that nature, and then here we got this guy who not so long ago tore his Achilles and is on track to potentially play Week 1. Your thoughts, Pops?
Well, we know about those Achilles, sir. The fact of it is this. I hope they're not trying to put him out there too fast because, if he messes around and does this again or whatever, then, hey, his career is over with or whatever. So I don't know if that's actually to bring the fans out of what that is. But, again, I hope that he is truly healed in order to play in the NFL this coming season. But if he goes out there and has another injury, I'm thinking that this is going to be it and he's going to end his career. So we'll see how it plays out.
No, no, I agree with the Pops. Now, I think they are, and I hope they are going to be cautious with him when it comes to this because,
Hey,
yeah, torn Achilles is nothing to play with. But we shall see. I mean, it's possible he could play Week 1. Just saying, it is possible. So we're gonna see. But yeah, my man George Kittle has been activated from the physically unable to perform list and possibly on track to play Week 1, which will now. And they say it's gonna be not gonna be Wednesday. I think they're gonna play that Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So they are gonna be playing Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. But it's gonna be in a different country. That's the thing. So it's going to be a little change of pace there. The NFL season will be starting on Wednesday instead of Thursday with the Patriots rematch against the Seahawks. And then the 49ers are up next that Thursday against the Rams. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But yeah, all signs pointing to him potentially playing Week 1. All right, George Kittle. Big ups to you, my good sir. Next up. So we're going to get into this topic here, and there's a lot of layers to this thing. So, Mr. Daquan Wright, at the time, if he cleared waivers, he had agreement in place for this season to play for the LSU Tigers. So basically, he was going to be cut from an NFL team and be able to go back to play for a college team. He is the first ever to do this, and he is on track to do it because he did clear waivers. I don't think he has signed with LSU yet. He may have. I'm not sure. It's him and another player. But yeah, Daquan Wright is going to be an LSU Tiger this upcoming season. Now, again, there's a lot of layers to this, Pops. There's a lot of layers to this. So, with what's going on with this right now, the Big Ten put out a statement saying if you get cut from an NFL team, you're not going to be playing for any of our teams in this conference at all. Otherwise, there's going to be consequences for our member schools. So that's what the Big Ten said. Shortly after the Big Ten said their statement, then the SEC came out with their own statement saying pretty much the same thing. Now, the only difference between what's going on now and then what Daquan Wright is doing, they have had an injunction filed, right? So with that being the case, a judge basically cleared them to have a 5th year of eligibility. Him and along with about, I think it was 6, 7 other players, maybe more than that. But it's different sports, not just football. But yeah, they got an injunction filed, and where they're able to play, have a 5th year 5th year of eligibility to play for a college team. LSU taking advantage of this, and obviously you see that Ole Miss uniform where Daquan Wright played for then coach Lane Kiffin, who is now the head coach at LSU. So, Pops, your thoughts on this craziness? Getting on an NFL team, he was an undrafted free agent. getting cut from an NFL team and now going back to college. What do you think about that, Pop?
This is going this is going to sound kind of crazy, but watch this. So if he gets cut from an NFL team, like you said, and go back to college, so what if the colleges can cut him? So can he go? They go back to high school and play to get a fifth year or third year in high school? Because I mean, because this is getting it's getting ridiculous, because your body develops later on in life and all of that. And I understand some of them may need a financial help or whatever, but the NIL thing is causing a lot of this. But like I said, if you're gonna go from an NFL team down to a college team, you might as well go from a college team down to a high school team.
No, I mean, listen, they're doing this. Well, I mean, why not?
Hey,
Why not? And then I was just to a show, and they were bringing up the comparison with Will Anderson, who is an amazing player for the Houston Texans, amazing defensive end. They were saying how much his body changed from his first year at Alabama to where he is now in the NFL. And there are some differences as far as nutrition and
right,
all these the strength and the conditioning programs and all that are in the NFL. And being able to go back, there's some differences there, and so it's craziness. It really is. And with these conferences coming out and saying what they said, it just means that we're not going to allow this. They're not going to stand for it. They put a stop to it. They didn't. The meaning behind this is that they're not going to let this overcome or overtake what they're doing in college football.
right,
NIL,
right,
NIL's already done that, right? But then this is just another thing that would grab headlines in college football, which is what they don't want. And yo, Aquila, I see Aquila's chiming in. What up? What up? Appreciate the comment. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. But yeah, first ever there, Daquan Wright got cut by the Cleveland Browns and is going to be an LSU Tiger, Pops. Going to be an LSU Tiger. And I want to tell you this also. The NFL came out and said something as well in regards to players playing for college, and then being able to sign with the NFL team within the same year, right? So they're basically saying a player signed to an NFL contract who was subsequently cut as a free agent said he may sign with another NFL club. Then they're saying he would not be subject to a future draft. So basically, you can't come out of college, declare for the draft, go back to college, and then declare for the draft again. So that's not going to happen as far as what the NFL is saying right now. And so another thing is that they clarified it a bit. They said the NFL informed their clubs, the NFL teams, that any player who returns to the college ranks will be prohibited from signing with an NFL team this season. So again, got cut, went back to college. You want to go sign with an NFL team this year, you can't do that. That's what they're saying. And again, you can't, declare for the draft again either. Because I was thinking about that. I was like, man, maybe he can go back, play well, and then declare for the draft and get better. Get a better draft, be drafted in a higher position. Because remember, he's an undrafted free agent. So maybe he could have done better, but no longer the case. And then we got another comment from Aquila. They say, I pray you don't get nobody pregnant. What? All
what is
right,
that?
Aquila. But that's it for that, y'all. Daquan Wright, yo, first ever. That's what he's doing. He's going back to play for the LSU Tigers. Got cut by the Cleveland Browns. Now going to be an LSU Tiger. First ever to do that. Next up, y'all. Just a little bit, into this story. So if you notice here, right, the college football quarterbacks, NFL rookie quarterbacks. So I'm bringing this up because of the Daquan Wright situation. Daquan Wright said, listen, I'm not going to make as much with, being on the practice squad and on the NFL team as I would being on LSU or any college football team roster. I'm going to make more with my college football team with NIL. Well, I said, let me go a bit further with this. And before I go into this a little bit deeper, we got another comment, another couple comments from Akila. Said, do they have to redshirt for a year or something? Nope, they do not. They will be eligible to play immediately. And then she says, a lot of ladies coming with them dollars. Yo, you wildin'. You wildin'. Anyway, so look at this, y'all. As you can see, the top paid quarterback in college football is getting paid more than that number 5 quarterback on that list, NFL rookie quarterback list. So Darian Mensah is getting paid 6.5 mil. Cade Klubnik is getting paid 1.1 mil. Pops, I'm gonna give you the floor with this because this is wild. We all knew it would come to this at some point, but to see it, like right now in my face, it's unbelievable. Your thoughts, Pops?
This one quick sentence. Forget the pros. I'm staying in college for 6 to 7 years. That's all I got to
I
say.
mean,
To say.
and that's why I brought this up, Pops, because again, that's why Daquan Wright was like, "What am I doing here? I might as
Hey,
well go back to college and make more. I got the injunction to do it. I'm gonna go get this money, and I'm not mad at him, honestly.
yeah,
But just to see this list, Pops, you just again, what are your thoughts on just what you're seeing here? And from when you started watching college ball to what you're seeing now with all the money that is being thrown around to these players, again, we knew they were being exploited back in the day. We understood that college football, college basketball, making a ton of money off these student athletes, and they're getting theirs now, but just the amount of money being thrown around is wild.
well, it's really turned into kind of like to a business because a while back, if you even thought about paying a college player, then you would be penalized. Ask SMU about that. And back in the day, they did something like that, and man, hey, the actual program was cut off, and they had to. I think they were actually on probation for a year or whatever, like what they wiped the program out. But as you said, now in this day and time, it's just like a business, and hopefully, they don't do this thing to the extreme where they'll have to cut everything out. And like I said, just forget about the pros and let's just go and be fans of the college game and let the pros. I think let them go into the college scene and let them be professional college players.
Understood. I'm there with you. And then we got a comment from Aquila saying, "I remember they couldn't make a dime."
Right.
And then another comment, which I was going to bring up, but I appreciate you, Aquila, for bringing it up because I'm gonna bring it up right now before we go on to our next segment. She said, "I like that shirt, QMP. Yeah, you see it, you see it. Yeah, we got merch now, y'all. Pops, your shirt is coming. You got my word. Your shirt is coming. But yeah, you see the merch right here. Wire Sports Show merch is in the building, y'all. Shout out to the person who made this shirt. We got more coming, y'all. Like I said, Pops, your shirt's coming as well. But yeah, y'all see it. Y'all see it. But anyway, moving on, y'all. Said this amount of money being thrown around college football is just crazy, Pops. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. But you know, long time coming though. Long time coming. It's just wild to see that they're making more some of the pro quarterbacks. So or pro rookie quarterbacks. All right, y'all. Moving on. This story is gonna have a little bit of layers as well, y'all. So Mr. Deshaun Watson. So you see the caption there. He says, "Last time I played on this field, I told my Achilles and that same fan base they cheered." This is Deshaun Watson on being booed by Browns fans during Saturday's preseason game in Cleveland. Now, since he made these comments, he has kind of walked them back a bit, and he's also came out and apologized, from my understanding, for his comments. Uh, and he has been named the starter for week 1 for the Cleveland Browns. So we'll get into this a little bit, Pops. Your thoughts on now I will tell you this, Pops. We kind of have an idea of what he's talking about when it comes to people cheering when an injury occurs, i.e. Michael Irvin when he went down in Philadelphia and they cheered. No, different circumstances because he's on the road, but even still, cheering for an injury is asinine. I cannot understand why people would do that, especially your home fans cheering that you got hurt. That is ridiculous. That is extremely disrespectful. Look, I'm not condoning any of the stuff that came out about Deshaun Watson whatsoever. You know, but we're talking about purely on the field. He tore his Achilles, and the Cleveland Browns fans cheered. Your thoughts on that, Pops? And just his comments in general, because this came from other comments that he said about, um, you know, they booed him, during his preseason game in Cleveland. And he was saying it wasn't based on performance; it was personal. Well, he did play like trash. He really did play like trash. And I went back and watched the game a couple different times to make sure if they cheered or that they booed him when he first came onto the field. Because remember, Shedeur Sanders started the game, and then Deshaun Watson played the second half. So I was listening here, and they weren't booing him when he came onto the field, to start the second half. They were booing him as his play got worse and worse and worse. So your thoughts, Pops?
I'm with you on the fact that I would not like to see fans do period as far as for their own player. Because if you have to look at it the right way, if that were their son and he was out there, would they want people to boo their son? I know he needs to play better. He was paid a ton of money to do better and to bring Cleveland to be a respectable team, and he hasn't done that yet. And also the off the field antics or whatever that was didn't help him at all either. But I think he's going to have to be the starter to let them see, other teams see what he is capable of doing, if that at all, because they have to see whether they'll be able to trade him or outright release him. But again, like I still say, if it could have been or should have been one of their sons or whatever, you have to sports is sports, but they pay a lot of money to see these guys play. But you have to understand they are human beings too. So I think if he doesn't do well in the next 2 or 3 games that he starts at for the Cleveland Browns, then I think they'll probably put him out on the market or whatever. But again, I'm not for a fan of the booing of for other uh, for fans rather to do it, especially to their own player. Because if they're like again, if it's their son, what would you like or how would you feel? So I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm there with you, Pops. We got a comment from Brandon saying, "What the heck do the Browns see in Deshaun Watson to make him the starter over Shedeur Sanders?" Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Great question. Let's pull up something real quick so we can see the comparison. The two preseason games. This is what Deshaun Watson did in the preseason. This is what Shedeur Sanders has done in the preseason after 2 games so far. So the only thing I can come up with here, Pops, is that it was based on practices that we don't see. That's it. Because really and truly, one of the interceptions that Shedeur Sanders had, it was a tip pass. So not really counting that. I would say it's 1-1 compared to 1-2. But for me, Pops, as I mentioned last week, is why not see what you have in Shedeur Sanders? Why not see what you have in him to be able to get an idea if you need to draft the quarterback in next year's draft or not? Deshaun Watson is not going to be a part of your team next year. So what are we doing? Todd Monken, what are we doing? Honestly, what are we doing? So let's make sure we understand here. You are tied to this move, my good sir. So you named Deshaun Watson a starter. This is on you. This is on you. Now, again, I would have said start Shedeur Sanders because of the fact that you need to see what you have in him. New system, because remember, Kevin Stefanski was there last year. Got let go. Todd Monken's the coach now. Got to see what you have, and that way you know if you need to cut ties or not. So what are you going to do? If Deshaun Watson plays bad, because apparently this is not a week-to-week move. Apparently Deshaun Watson's a starter till whenever. Okay, we going to see. Because if he starts playing like trash, which is what we've been seeing him doing the last few games that we've seen him play in regular season games. He played against Cowboys. Played like trash, right? So at the end of the day, we want to see what we have in Shador Sanders because of the fact that you got this upcoming draft supposed to be QB draft, QB rich draft. You mean to tell me you don't want to see what Shador Sanders has before you make that decision on moving on to draft quarterback? Just saying, Pops. Any lasting thoughts on this?
Well, like I told you, in my case is you're totally right about the fact you need to see what Shador has. But thing about it is he has time on the side, and Watson doesn't. And I like I said again, I believe that they're trying to see what does he have anything left in the tank, and if he does, they're going to put him out there anyway because they need to move on because of the fan base and all of that. And then that way, if they put Shador out there and he messes up, then what do you got then? The only thing you do is wait for the draft. So I will get this man because he got all this money. So hey, they need to see what he can do so they get him out of there, or else put him out on the market one way or the other, and then that way Shador could be the one, the future quarterback for them. But it's all in the Browns' hands. They've had trouble anyway over the last few years anyway with quarterbacks and all of that. So let's just see what happens.
But that's what I'm saying, Pops. What's the point of? Do you really think you're going to win with Deshaun Watson?
What we don't know,
You
we don't
really?
know. Realistically, the jury's still out on him anyway, in a sense of speaking. Because like I said, he hadn't had the seasons that everybody thought he would have, and all that. The injuries have caused a problem with that. So if you start Shador, then what are you going to do with Watson? Leave him on the bench, trade him? What you going to do with it?
This is true. So I guess we gonna see. We gonna see. We got another comment from
Yeah.
Brandon. Brandon saying Watson does not have a good O line in Cleveland. It's a lose lose. I'm there with you on that too, man. So it doesn't matter. Appreciate the comment, brother. But it really doesn't matter who's you know behind center. But again, you want to see what you have with Shador Sanders because again, you want to be able to make a bona fide decision of what you're going to be doing in this upcoming draft. It just seems like a no brainer to me, Pops. Unless you really think you're about to win with Deshaun Watson, and by all accounts, don't see how anyone can think that's going to happen right now. Now, I'm hoping he plays well and plays like we used to seeing him play when he was with Houston, when he was an MVP candidate, you know. And you remember his coach had came out, Dabo Sweeney, when he was coming out of the draft talking about he was Michael Jordan. I don't know if you remember that or not, but he had
Yeah.
said that, and he was playing damn near like Jordan, for a little bit, making some insane plays. But then, a very, very steep fall from grace there, Pops. Just saying. So we gonna see. We gonna
No
see. But
doubt.
yeah, Deshaun Watson is now your starter for week 1 for the Cleveland Browns. All right, y'all. Next up, this is something that tripped me out here. So Nick Chubb announced his retirement at the age of 30. Nick Chubb, who was a pretty decent running back, 4-time Pro Bowler, you know, um, pretty good running back, pretty good running back. And then, they had this clip that I saw, and I was like, man, this is crazy, right? So you had Todd Gurley, who's on the left there, number 3 for Georgia. You got Sonny Michelle, who's number 1 for Georgia, and then obviously Nick Chubb, who's number 27 for Georgia. And for a while there, Pops, Georgia was considered running back you. It really was because of all the bona fide running backs that had coming out. Then you got Todd Gurley that retired at the age of 28. Tony Michelle that retired at the age of 28 as well. And then Nick Chubb who retired at the age of 30. So it's crazy to see that, as the caption says, it is an end of an era that this elite trio of running backs all retired at 30 years old or younger. Your thoughts, Pops?
Well, we had said I think let's go back and look at Elliott, for the Cowboys, and they had said that running backs have kind of like become kind of like a secondary thing for the NFL. They say you get kind of like a dime a dozen in a sense, but also the fact of it is that they have a lot of wear and tear on them or whatever. And I believe that it is best to retire as early as you can in a sense because all the hits and everything that you take, and that's more by one person, whatever, it's about maybe all of the 11 members of their defense. So it's best to get out when you can. And you're saying it's Georgia being kind of like the running back capital of the NFL in a sense. But
Yeah.
again, they said running backs nowadays can become they can get one off the street. So I think that's possibly the reason why they going ahead and getting on out there while they can.
Yeah. And we got a comment from Akila. She's saying, making their ancestors and elders' wildest dreams come true. Yeah. I mean, listen, they retired at a young age, and it's not like they didn't get paid. So hopefully they manage their money well, and be able to live a good life. But we going to see, you know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. Life changing money. About three of these guys. So, we're going to see. But yeah, all of them retired at the age of 30 or younger. That's wild. Todd Gurley, goodness gracious, that dude was a beast of a back. He really was. And then steep fall from grace for him as well, as he kept mounting up those injuries. And then we see what happened. See what ultimately wound up happening with him. Got another comment from Akila saying most people can't retire at 60. That's a bar. That is a bar. That is a bar. And then you got another comment from Texas Kings 88. My man said, Pops is right. Look at Chris Johnson. No one wants that. Absolutely. And then you got a comment from Brandon saying Chubb wasn't the same after he got hurt. Hey, man, that's true. And you can also say that about a lot of these backs, man, especially, like I said, Todd Gurley is a prime example. He got hurt, and then he was never the same, man. So, yeah, you're absolutely right, though. Chubb is not the same either. And Texas Kings, that was a bar as well, brother. You know, see Chris Johnson. See Chris Johnson for example of how backs as they take a lot of hits. They take a
Right,
lot
right,
of hits, Pop. So
right,
I'm there
right.
with you on that. There with you on that. Y'all, before we go on to the next clip, y'all again, don't forget to be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And listen, y'all, appreciate everybody once again who's on watching on Facebook right now, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Thank y'all so much. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, y'all. All right, now it's time for our Dallas Cowboys segment, Pops. So first up, Pops, I want to get your takeaways from the game. Give me your takeaways from the game we had against the Cardinals, Pops.
Well, as we both said, these are no-name players that actually played in that game that we saw this past weekend. But due to the fact that we always have thought that Dallas's defense, well, I'll put it like this: the defense they had last year in the NFL, it looked like replacements last year. But now it looks like the defense that they have now, they're playing more so together from this game we saw, and also the quarterback play that also was a little bit better. And also the fact that when you see these players on the sideline, they seem to be having fun with one another. And I just think that's going to carry over to the regular season this coming year. And so we'll see how it happens. Of course, we always say again, all those players, man, we don't even know who they are and all that kind of stuff like that. But I've seen past Dallas Cowboy preseason games, and hey, believe me, these games right now that they played in looks like they have a better mental attitude about the game, and I'm willing to think that they're going to be better because of what I saw this past Saturday.
And Pops, the thing that I took away from it more than anything was they had nine less penalties compared to the game before, right? And so, and all of the penalties were committed by the defense in this past game against the Cardinals. Um, but that was great to see. That was really great to see that they cleaned it up just a bit from one game to the next. And gotta say, seeing what was the dude's name? My man from Michigan, who came
Yeah,
out and played really well. Um, Goodness gracious. I mean, he might be a player, Pops, the way he was moving around again. Not put too much on it because it was preseason, but man, he ain't played at all in the preseason, and yet still that dude did some good stuff. He did some really good stuff, and the upside for him is awesome. Went back and probably watched the game about two or three times just to get an idea of what I was seeing. And it was really, really, really good to see what the defense was able to do. And like I said, my man from Michigan, who we drafted, um, again, we talked about him, Pops. I think it was Barham is his name. To see what he did, it was impressive. It truly was impressive. And I'm looking forward. It's Barham. We drafted out of Michigan. I'm truly impressed with what I saw, the few plays that he did make. and looking forward to see what's to come. Um, obviously we did get a win against the Cardinals. Again, preseason no less. It is what it is. But takeaways are pretty good, pops. They're pretty good. Now, one of the other takeaways that we're going to talk about is this young man right here. Mr. Joe Milton played a hell of a game this past Saturday. I was extremely impressed, pops. I was extremely impressed with what I saw. It just seems like the game is slowing down just a bit for him, and the talent that we know he has. It's like Coach Brian Schottenheimer said, he's playing quarterback, and he was saying something that I thought was really funny. He was like, he saw film of him, back in college or whatever, saying how he could throw the ball 60 yards, whatever the case may be. He's like, this ain't the circus though. We're not performing for the circus. We're playing quarterback in the NFL. And to see his growth from the first year he was with the Cowboys to now, pops. I really was impressed. I'm thinking Sam Howell, yeah, you might want to go and just get ready to be the emergency quarterback. But what are your thoughts on what you saw from Joe Milton, pops?
Well, again, he has competition, and also the main thing you said about last year when he came with the Cowboys, also the fact that the head coach has faith. I think he has faith in him to do better than what he had been doing last year, and I think Milton himself knows he can perform better. But if you saw some of the passes that he threw this past weekend, the touch passes and all of that, especially that long one, it was right on the money, and right, and that right there showed, because you can have all the kind of arm you want to have, but when you can touch a pass like that down the field and hit it right on stride, that shows me something. And then he got in some situations where he kind of read the defense and spin out right or whatever, and then more or less, shall I say, the defense know how to watch out for what he was doing, because he can run anyway. We know that, but to stand
Absolutely.
and read the defense and then to have those passes like that, hey, I love everything that I saw, and I believe he's going to be the good backup quarterback that we expected him to be. So we'll see what happens. He got one more game. We'll see.
Pops, I will tell you, like I said last week, I'm getting less and less concerned with each passing week about our backup quarterback situation. If he's playing like this, I mean, and they're even talking about maximizing his trade value, saying they may trade him. But I'm like, no, because what else we got? I mean, we got Sam Howell, but at the end of the day, we traded him for the potential that he has, right? So I'd say hang on to him, honestly. So yeah, Joe Milton, big ups to you, my man. Hell of a game against the Cardinals, brother. Hell of a game. I think you wrapped up that QB2 battle. I think it's done. I think it's done. Um, Next up, gotta talk about this backup running back battle, pops. And my personal opinion, pops. And I mean, you know how I've been on Jaden Blue, but pops, Malik Davis. Goodness gracious, he started it out with the first play of the game. The first play of the game, he picked up a blitz, like Stone the blitzer, and I was like, okay, buddy. We think of a few things when it comes to a back, playing in the NFL. Obviously running the ball, being able to catch the ball out of the backfield, but it's also pass protection. So, Pops, after the second game, where do you think the backup running back battle stands? Who do you think's in the lead?
Uh, Again, I have to say that the team that we saw on the field for the Cardinals was not the actual Cardinals defense that we would see in the regular season. And these guys, all of them look well to me. The one play you did say is to pick up that linebacker coming through and stopping him because of the fact that it gives the quarterback more time to pass or to read his receivers or whatever. But again, we went and looked at the second and third string uh, defensive players for the Cardinals. And this game coming up here will let me know a little bit more about who I need to see as far as who's going to be that. I think Blue's going to be there anyway because they drafted him, but he none of them truly have a total edge on each other in a sense. But I'm going to read one more game and see what I got.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, Malik Davis, Pops. I gotta say, he did
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
He did
he.
a hell of a job. That caught my eye. That really
Yeah.
did. That
Okay.
first play of the game really caught my eye. And just how consistent he was throughout the game. Now Jaden Blue, still my man. Still my man. He gonna come through. He gonna make it happen. He gonna make me look good. I'm just saying, Malik Davis, man, he had a pretty good game. Pretty good game. All right, now I did see the comment from Texas Kings 88, and I see you, Brandon. I'm gonna put up Brandon's comment first, and there's a reason for that. My man Texas Kings 88. I see you, brother. I see you. Uh, Brandon saying that Malik Davis should be RB2. He just has more bursts. Okay, understood. And I mean, you're not wrong there because each game he's played so far, he has looked the best out of all three of them. I would say. I would say. And then got a comment from Texas Kings 88 saying, I'm sorry, not sorry. Blue is gone. Davis and Mafia are showing out. Hey man, hold on a second, Texas Kings 88, brother. Let me tell you something. This is what you need to do right here with that comment, sir. Just saying, you need to do this right here. As soon as I pull it up, give me a minute. This is what you need to do with that comment, sir. That's what you need to do, okay? So you talking about my man Blue. I'm gonna need you to relax, brother. I'm gonna need you to relax. But anyway, that's where we are right now with the running back battle. Charlie said they're making it hard. They're making it hard on him. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it goes. So moving on, y'all. And this is why I was waiting to say that comment for that previous comment that you said, Texas Kings 88. So our camp spotlight for this week goes to my man Shaziah Pete. Shaziah Pete. Okay, or Shiza Pete. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm pronouncing it right. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, please forgive me. But Shiza Pete. Now, listen, in Arizona, right, he had a whole section cheering for him. I wish we had that video to play, but we do not. But yeah, he's an interesting story. He's a very interesting story. I'm going to put this comment from Texas Kings 88. He got recognized in the locker room by the coach, by Brian Schottenheimer, saying, you know, he had a whole section cheering for him, because of his heritage, where he comes from. He could be the very first to make a team. I don't want to misspeak or anything about what he is, but he is and could be the first to be able to make an NFL team. And he is a player that played for the New Mexico State Aggies. Okay, and he is part of the Navajo Nation. Okay, so part of the Navajo Nation. All right, so that's what I was trying to make sure I said correctly. But yeah, he gets our camp spotlight, Mr. Shayaza Pete. Again, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, please forgive me for that, my man. But yeah, he gets our spotlight. And then what he said in the locker room, he said, this team is gonna make us brothers. And it made the whole locker room go wild, Pops. Made them go wild. So your thoughts on this guy being our camp spotlight of the week?
Well, you know what? I like the spirit that this young man has, and I think if we get him, or I hopefully he'll be really enough to make the team, not just put him on there for one reason. But I like for him to be on the team because we're going to have a whole nation behind it. That's a whole nother fan base for the Dallas Cowboys. So hopefully he can play well enough, and they'll keep him for that reason, not just to have him on the team, just to hang around. But if he does make the team, again, we're going to have a whole new fan base for the Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you on that, Pops. Now, y'all know what time it is. It's that time of the show. It's that part of the show where we're going to talk about our bruh moment of the week, y'all. Our bruh moment of the week. And who fit the bill for this week? Well, so apparently, Mr. CeeDee Lamb was spotted holding hands with teammate Von Miller's ex. Now, y'all, Von Miller just joined the team. He just joined the team. Now, let's put this in perspective, y'all. Think about this. These are human beings at the end of the day. Yes, they are football players, they're athletes, you know, bona fide athletes can do things on the field that us normal folks can't do. But again, at the end of the day, they are human beings. So let's put in that human factor for a minute and what dynamic that could have in the locker room, y'all. So again, CeeDee Lamb going out with Von Miller's ex again. Von Miller just signed with the team. Pops. So in essence, CeeDee Lamb is our bro moment of the week. Pops. CeeDee Lamb is our bro moment of the week. Even though you see Von Miller and his ex there pictured, CeeDee Lamb is our bro moment of the week. So your thoughts on this, Pops? Tell me what you think on this, Pops.
2 words, not good.
Understood. Understood. We gonna leave it there, Pops. We gonna leave it right there. We got a comment from Brandon. Said, I mean, unless Von Miller and CD really know each other like that, he ain't breaking any type of bro code. Understood, man. But again, that locker room is a different dynamic, and I'm hoping that it does not, mess with any of that team chemistry because we know what we've been seeing, how this team has been coming together, and this is all we needed is something to come out like this, Pops. This is all we needed. So yeah, CeeDee Lamb, my man, got our bro moment of the weekend. Man, I'm hoping that this does not cause any issues at all, but we gonna see. We gonna see. Well, y'all, that is gonna do it for us this evening. Once again, we appreciate all the comments, everyone that's tuning in via Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Thank y'all so much once again for all the views, all the comments, all the love, all the support. We greatly appreciate y'all very, very much. Once again, y'all, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And y'all, until next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Peace out, y'all.